off. Okay, guys, so let's talk about Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Okay, privacy, security, and HIPAA. And understanding what is HIPAA and the role that it plays in your career. I don't know if I sent y'all videos. No, I haven't sent y'all videos. I did that. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I sent y'all videos on it?
No.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
On her channel?
No, one of the ones you sent.
I sent you a link.
Yeah.
You sent us 3 of them, 4 of them.
Oh,
One of them wasn't good.
Yeah.
Chapter 3 wasn't good.
Okay, but I don't think any of those. I think I sent you the chapters 1, 2, and 3. But you said chapter 3 wasn't good. Someone else said the same thing.
You said 4 chapters. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chapter 3 wasn't good.
Okay, so I need to redo chapter 3.
I went on YouTube and found the chapter 3. And
okay. Using. Okay, that's fine. Okay, then I will send y'all a proper video on HIPAA, like the role playing of it in the office and stuff. Okay, if you all have this book, I'm on page 19. If y'all have this blue and white book, if y'all have the pink book, find where it says pre-existing conditions, Title I health insurance reform. And then it should have the terms like Title I, Title II, electronic media, covered entity, yeah, pre-existing, business associate, things like that. So it should be on that page. If you want to, go to your index at the very back of your book and find business associate or pre-existing, and it should lead you to the page of where I'm located. Did everybody find it? Okay, you have the pink and white book. You want to bring it to me, sweetie? Page 60?
Page 60 doesn't have it. It just has a definition where you would find the definition.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have Title I, and it should have.
Title II, Administrative Simplification.
That's it. I'm on that page. Page 23 in the pink and white books.
Yes. What page in the green book? 19.
18, 19. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about Title I right quick. One. Okay. And let's read what Title I is all about. Because there's different forms of HIPAA. Okay. The first paragraph preceding that is that the HIPAA legislation project long-term benefits include the following: lowered administrative costs, increased accuracy of data, increased patient and customer service satisfaction, reduced revenue cycle time, and improved financial management. Those are some of the things that's wrapped up inside of HIPAA. For Title I, it says the primary purpose of HIPAA Title I health insurance reform is to provide continuous coverage for workers and their dependents when they change or lose their jobs. This aspect of HIPAA affects individuals and consumers. Previously, when an employee has left or lost a job and exchanged insurance coverage, it's limited for pre-existing conditions. Now, back in the day, when I worked insurance industry, how do you spell pre-existing? Okay, with 2 E's. Back in the day, it used to be if a person has a pre-existing condition. Now, a pre-existing condition could be diabetes,
heart disease,
congestive heart failure,
High blood pressure.
hypertension. Anybody else? Stroke. Those are conditions that have been acquired prior to your coverage. So let's just say, for example, this person works for Kroger. Okay, I'm just picking on Kroger for a minute, nothing personal. And Kroger has Cigna, right? Okay, and this person chooses a plan. We're going to talk about Chapter 3 in a little while. There's different plans. PPO is a plan. HMO is a plan. She got it. POS, exactly. EPO, major medical. All those are different plans. Okay, but I'm gonna write that on the board so y'all can really see what I mean. Okay. Now, this person worked for Kroger's, for example, and they have Cigna. And the plan that they have is HMO. Okay. Now, and they started working there, let's say January. Oh, it's some happy time. Let's say January 3rd. You know, they happen to find that job talking to somebody, and they got hired quick. Okay. Now, this person used to work for Randall's. Okay. And at Randall's, we used to have MetLife. Anybody remember MetLife?
Yeah.
When I worked at Kelsey-Seybold, MetLife was one of our accounts, right? So we had MetLife. This person,
They always give you
free stuff. Exactly. So let's suppose they have MetLife, PPO. There's a difference between those two. And let's say they started working for them July 6, 2010, and they quit their job New Year's Day 2019 so they can go work for Kroger's. Everybody understand that? Okay. Now, while they worked at Randall's, they were diagnosed. And diagnosed, what's the abbreviation for diagnosis? DX. Very good. They were diagnosed with hypertension and diagnosed also with diabetes. Okay? And let's suppose it's diabetes type 2. That's quite common among adults. Okay? All right. So hypertension, diabetes. They were diagnosed with this. Let's see. Let me say they found out about this right around holiday time. They got sick, went to the emergency room around Thanksgiving. So November 30th, 2011. Okay? And they got diagnosed with this around that time. Now, this is within the time frame of them working for Randall's. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Now, they were diagnosed November 11, 2011, but they began working at Randall's July 6, 2010. So they have had coverage continuously with MetLife the whole, look like 9 years or maybe 8.5 years with Randall's. Everybody understand that? Now they switch jobs. Okay. Now, anytime if a person has gotten, okay, you can get it. Okay. If a person has gotten fired or laid off or resigned, then they must be offered, what's the golden rule to offer a person? What package is that? Cobra. Okay. And so we'll talk about Cobra a little bit later when we come to Chapter 3. So within Cobra, they give you a 6-month time frame to enroll for Cobra. Okay. Now, let's suppose you say, okay, that's a formality. They're gonna send you a letter to your house. Hey, we're gonna offer you Cobra, so you can have some coverage. So instead of y'all paying $300 a month for your coverage through Randall's, you're gonna be paying $1,200 a month. Well, yeah, you had that.
I have it at my rate that I was paying when I was employed.
Okay, so they still kept you at that rate?
My job kept me.
Oh, that's wonderful. So they really honored your service.
Oh, yeah, they did.
That's a blessing.
They gave me a year's severance package.
Oh,
benefits.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's a
It's
good
already been 20
company.
years. I mean,
Oh,
I've
wow.
heard it.
Yeah, that's right. You sure do. You absolutely do. Okay. So we'll talk about that so that when y'all work at these beautiful front desks and explain things to people so they don't take the attitude with you, right? So you can tell them if you're going to get mad, go to human resources where you work at because they're the ones that makes these decisions. We just verify benefits and tell you what it is. Okay. So at the same time, once you're learning all of this, you're now becoming a financial counselor of this, right? Because you have to educate people on what their plan is and how it works. Because folks, all they know is open enrollment. I need this for myself, for my family. Boom, and I only want to pay this. Or sometimes you get a cheap plan, you think you got a good deal, and you find out I should have paid that $400 plan instead of that $100 plan. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I told my husband that. And I've been bugging him now. I said, hey, when is the next open enrollment for Exxon Mobil? Hey. You already know. Sister got to have the Supreme package. 'Cause I need options. I don't do that closed box stuff. I need options. Now you can do closed box because God has blessed your health to do that because you don't need to go to the doctor. I'm at the doctor just about every week. Every week.
But I thought when you're both on the same account, like if you get it, he gotta have it, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he can't pick the insurance plan based on how his health is.
Right.
He's got to
So
consider
he has
me.
to do for
Yeah.
both of him.
Uh-huh.
Right, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I make sure that somebody sister just asked me, she works at a bank in Mississippi. So she asked me, I said, you already know the answer. The supreme one. You know you same similar to me. We came from the same bloodline. Don't play. You know you go to the doctor, maybe not as often, but you go just enough. Get supreme. You it's worth the pay.
So he might be over insuring himself, but you need it for you.
I need it more so. Yeah, I need it more so. And it's better that way.
It is.
Mhm. Yeah, but cheaper deductible. Yeah, we're
Your
gonna.
out of pocket max probably be if you go to the doctor every week, law averages you go like to the doctor's office at least once a month with your medicine, with your pharmacy, the doctor's visit, any ancillary tests, you will be your maximum out of pocket by the end of the year. Which means if you meet it in December, that's the time you should have your procedure because you don't pay everything is free.
That's right. I usually max out like I did this year. I maxed out my 4,600 in March. I had a blood transfusion. I had pneumonia. I had surgery. So it was like,
Now it's all free.
yeah, everything is just like, okay. So sometimes I get to doctor's offices, they forget and they be like, oh, you owe a $60 copay. Sweetie, I've met my out of pocket. I don't pay anything. So what that tells me is y'all rely too much on IVRs and y'all not calling. Y'all not double checking. But that's okay. I just let them know. No, ma'am.
It's good to know your own benefits.
That's right.
Check mine every time I have to go to the doctor. I know nothing about.
That's
Or you
right.
take your EOB to the doctor's office. Your latest EOB, take it to the doctor's office.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. You ladies are catching on. Y'all doing great. Y'all doing great.
Do they
Okay.
have to
So
reimburse you?
Yeah, they will.
yeah, if like okay, let me give you a prime example. Like I kept seeing floaters, right? Back in August, I kept seeing floaters. So I went to go see an ophthalmologist, not an optometrist, but an ophthalmologist, like eye surgeon, right? And the young lady was like, "Well, you owe a $60 copay." I'm like, "Ma'am, I've met my out of pocket. I don't owe that." "Well, you still got to pay it, ma'am." I said, "You know what? I'm not going to even embarrass you and tell you who I am. I'm going to go ahead and pay that $60 because guess what? When I call the insurance company, you're going to give me back my money. That's just how it's going to roll. And then I'm going to come back in here and say, see what I'm talking about?
Learning lesson for me.
Yeah, it'll be a lesson for her. But I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to let her do her job.
Yeah.
You know? But I went on and paid it. No biggie. Okay.
But you get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm going to get it back anyway.
Well, I thought they're supposed to call and verify insurance.
They are. But see, again, she went on the IVR. Okay, she know what I mean by IVR, right? Both of y'all should know what I mean by IVR. IVR is your like your electronic voice. Like if you put in certain patient information, their subscriber ID, their date of birth. Oh, the patient is eligible. The patient has a $60 copay. The patient blah 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 for
It have changed.
huh?
Things could have changed since your last visit.
Right, things could have changed at the last visit, but also considering this information, I was rushing to find somebody because I could not see in my house at night. I couldn't see. I couldn't. So I was just. I needed it right away. So I'm not mad at her, and that's why I went on and paid the $60. I wasn't so mad at her about that. I don't know what that was. All I know is I go to bed, and sometimes it still happens, and I wake up, and it's like I can see blocks.
That's a red.
Shooting stars.
That's like a red detector. You only half of a.
But it's like it's floating, and like it's like no matter how I'm looking, I'm like, why do I keep seeing that puzzle square? Why do I keep? I'm like, okay. I still said, and the guy told me there was nothing wrong with my eyes. I'm like, I'm gonna go back for a second.
Wow.
Exactly. But that's all right. Exactly. So, but it was in a rush situation, so she couldn't really do it. But on formality, I've caught them where they rely on that electronic verifier and not calling for sure. And around this time of the season, when it's August, July, you need to start calling because sometimes folks would have maxed it out right about now. What were you saying, sweetheart?
No, I was just saying that most doctors' offices, they will verify, they don't tell you this claim, that they will verify the insurance once you go to the doctor's office, but it's only, they're only gonna verify your benefits at the time of service. There's no guarantee that they're gonna pay the amount that they say that they're gonna pay. So they will give you that verified beginning. So if somewhere along the line that you lose your insurance,
Yeah.
you're still responsible. And then if they have assistants that come in from the doctor and say, okay, well, I want this person to assist with me, they're not responsible. And if they're not on your insurance policy, you're still responsible.
Yeah. It's called reasonable and customary. Exactly. Okay. So, but yeah, that's how it's usually done. So 6 months, you're offered that time limit to either love it or leave it, take it or reject it. Okay. Now, at this moment, they are supposed to send you. Okay, I can get over some more. They are supposed to send you a letter of coverage.
30 days, right?
Yeah, within 30 days. And that is to tell you that you've had previous coverage at MetLife. Okay? This right here is supposed to protect you, or the employee or the patient, protect you to have and bypass the pre-existing rules. Pre-existing rules. Now, back in the day when I processed claims, pre-existing, we used to have to count it. Okay, if we didn't have letters of coverage to fight that, the person had to be 3 months before, 3 months during, or 3 months after. So, if they had a pre-existing condition 3 months prior to their their date of eligibility, okay, although they had it in 2011, but they got hired on at Kroger's, if they have had it 3 months prior to, and it's a true, they did have it, then it should bypass that. So what ends up happening, the insurance company will pin the claim. So we're going to eventually talk about the 3 results of claim processing. And I know I'm kind of moving all over the page, but I'll come back to it. 3 results of claim processing. And y'all going to learn that when we talk about adjudication of a claim. One is paid, pinned, and denied. Okay. Regina, have you seen plenty of those?
Yeah, I got some in my car.
You got some in your car. Okay. So you have to kind of scrub through those edit messages, right? To see which ones are pending and why they're pending. See which ones have been denied and why they're denied. We're going to talk about EOBs and how to properly read them and how to properly do the job called scrubbing. Okay, I know I've mentioned scrubbing once before in a lecture. Do y'all remember that?
That was in our.
Yeah, that was in your first day? Okay.
When you
All right.
talk about billing clearinghouse, stop it.
Exactly.
They don't have a clearinghouse. They have to rely on their own employees to scrub.
That's right.
Oh, that's what the
EOB.
I was sitting up here looking crazy, like, what is this? What are they talking about? And I just started.
It's okay. It's all right. Okay, so now let's suppose this person, they worked at Randall's. They were diagnosed November 30th, 2011 with hypertension, diabetes. They've had this 3 months prior to their hire date of eligibility for insurance. So did they pass? Yes, they bypassed that. But what ends up happening to the claim, I don't want to trip over this thing. What ends up happening to the claim is that they have to pin the claim. And so when they pin the claim, they're going to send you notification. They're going to pin the claim and send you notification inquiring the provider and the employee, which is the patient. PT means patient, not point. Patient. I know, I like to tease and mess with y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. And upon that, that it's going to question you about, have you had this illness before? Have you been treated by this before? Who have you been treated by? You got to fill out those inquiries and you got to mail it back to the insurance company. Or you have to fax it back, scan it in and fax it back, or fax it to them and they'll scan it in. And then the claims adjuster, because now it's no longer the frontline people, the claims examiners, it's the claims adjusters. They'll start reviewing those kind of claims that are in queue and they'll start fixing. And then you may say, the patient may say, yes, and I've been treated, and la la la. Here's a letter of coverage of something my job told me to give y'all. Da, da, da. So now, what ends up happening is Cigna can now pay for everything continuously without interruption. Does everybody understand that? That's how pre-existing exists. However, works rather. However, oh, it's my GED student. Okay, I'll catch you later. However, due to healthcare reform, which we know as Obamacare, thank you. Well, I know, you know.
He just wanted to put his name on.
Just had to put his name on it, sweetie. You know how that works, you know.
Trump doesn't exist.
Exactly. So, but yeah, due to Obamacare, that has resolved all of this.
Yes.
Okay, so that bypassed this, that bypassed that bypassed that. Everyone should have coverage. Now, you paying for coverage. The premium, yeah, you should have it. The premiums are maybe feasible, maybe not so feasible. That out of pocket is just monstrous. Before you could even get a chance to do the 20%. But it's better some coverage than none.
Yes.
Does everybody understand that?
Always a payment.
There's always a payment plan. Exactly. Now, if you're one of those kind of patients where, like me, for example, you're, always in the hospital. I don't want to say the word over my life, but I'm going to say I'm always pretty much in the hospital. You tend to run those out of pockets really fast when you go through the emergency room and things of that nature. Are y'all catching what I'm saying? Okay. So that's how you get that done. Okay. All right. So that is what Title I is all about. Now, let's move on to Title II, Administrative Simplification. Let's look at that. Oh, okay. Y'all want to take pictures?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That was,
Turn them right
no, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And I'm going to upload it
Video for
tonight.
everybody.
What are the two words in the middle? Is it responsible or customary?
Oh, reasonable and
Oh,
customary.
reasonable, okay.
Yeah, that's what Regina was alluding to in her conversation. She was speaking of reasonable and customary. Those are terms you're going to hear all the time when you talk to insurance.
Good thing, no bad thing.
Yeah. All righty. Did y'all have it so far? Do y'all want me to leave the light on?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay by you.
Yeah.
What about for your video?
Yeah.
Are you shooting the video?
It's
Okay.
recording. Yeah, so I'm going to upload it tonight. So just give me a chance to get it uploaded, and then you all can play it. That'll be good, so that way I don't get any buffering. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Title II, Administrative Simplification. Let's see what that's all about. And we're going to kind of jump around on here for the sake of time. Administrative simplification focuses on healthcare practice setting and aims to reduce administrative costs and burdens, standardizing electronic transmissions of billing and payment information reduces the number of forms and methods used in the claims processing cycle. This reduces the effort needed to record processed paper or non-standard electronic claims. Additional provisions are meant to ensure the privacy and security of individuals' health data. Title II also focuses on reducing fraud, waste, and abuse in healthcare by increasing both the funding to combat fraud and abuse and the penalties associated with fraudulent activities. There are four main parts of Hipaa Title II, which is work simplification, standard transactions and code sets, unique identifiers, privacy and confidentiality, security of health transactions. These main parts will be discussed later in another chapter. So we're going to talk about HL7. I don't know if anybody's familiar with HL7. HL7 has a lot to do with compatibility, and interoperability. Okay. It also talks about clearinghouses. It covers that. And how information are encrypted. Okay? When you're encrypting something through email, let me write that down. It's kind of light, isn't it? It is very light.
It is. The one underneath compatibility, what is it?
Clearinghouses.
No, the word right above.
Compatibility,
underneath it.
interoperability. Yeah, interoperability. When you're sending patient information, you have to encrypt it. Encrypt it means that you have to ensure IT safety measures. Mm-hmm. Before transmitting to another destination. Was that you, Catalina? Okay. You want to give us an example about what you do, how you do what you do?
Access the well, we receive the request
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that we have a HIPAA by the patient. If not, because sometimes it depends on like the case and what's going on and who's asking for the record. If it's one of our county attorneys, then with we call it a HIPAA letter. With that HIPAA letter, I can release the records because they are basically the attorneys that's defending the
And they're receiving the information.
right.
So if something,
for his defense.
right.
So, if it's an outside attorney, like private sector or whatever, and they're not a part of us, then they must have we must have a signed from the client in order to release the information. But they get tricky because sometimes they may have the law firm's name on there, but if it's an attorney on the attorney name on the subpoena, that's who I have to release it to. But they get mad because they want their, well, you could just send it to so and so, and I say, well, that's not the person that's on the subpoena. So by law, I'm not able to release that. It has to be the person that's on the subpoena.
That's right.
So even though the law firm is on the HIPAA form, it doesn't give me a specific name. So if I can't release it to the person that's on the subpoena, I just wait until I can actually get email address for that particular person that's on the subpoena. But anyway, so I get it, process, I make sure I have what I need. Cover myself, see what I need.
CYA. That's right. Corporate America. You don't know nothing else corporate America. You're going to know what CYA is. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and so once I have that, then I process.
Mm-hmm.
I pull access the record, certain if they're in-house, because with the inmates, it's like a whole different world as far as records and all that, because they are so protected. Like, I mean, they have so many rights and stuff. We have people that check that for them all the time, so you have to make sure that you are covered. Once you have everything you need, I can access the record if they have sensitive information. We call it like extra sensitive. So like alcohol abuse, drug abuse, sexual abuse, HIV, AIDS, any of that. We have to make sure that certain things are checked off on the HIPAA or they initialed on the HIPAA or whatever. Some of the attorneys, the outside attorneys, their HIPAA forms or authorization forms doesn't even have that information on there. But that's something I have to look for because they have that extra sensitive information in their records and I release it, then we could get sued for that.
Yes, right.
Because they're not giving us permission to release that.
Right.
If it's on there, then I can release it. But we do kind of a second line of defense because if they're in-house, we make sure we basically review records before they're sent out. The custodian does that.
Awesome.
If they're gone, if I see red when I pull up a record, I'm like, ooh, and it's gone off my desk. But if they're in-house, if their label is blue, I know it have to go up the line
before I can send it out. And if we have, so then once I process, then I lock it to where I combine the records and then put the encrypt password on it. If they're
Yep.
in-house, I have to label it incomplete, because that basically what that means is if they're in-house and I send the records, say tomorrow, they could come down to the clinic like tonight, but the attorney gets the records tomorrow, and they came to the clinic tonight. That means that he's missing something. So it's an incomplete record until they leave. Once they leave, it's a complete record, and we don't have to mark them. But as long as they're in-house, they could miss some material. So say he doesn't go to court until next month. Between today of me sending them out and he gets the records tomorrow, between tomorrow and next month when he goes to court, they could basically send for additional or supplemental records to where I would have to send them whatever has transpired between the date that I processed and the current date. So,
Wow.
so I lock them, put a password
That's
on
right.
them,
That's how you do it.
and send them my email, and I send them a password in a different email.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly how you encrypt it. That's how exactly you're supposed to have patient information safety with those type of protocols. You're exactly right. See, that's why you're a documentation specialist. You see that? It's a lot. It's a lot to it. There's a lot of intensity to that than just sending out release of information. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot of liability
And in detail.
and detail work. That's right.
Yeah, that's why I
Mm-hmm.
say, like, when I go to work, I have to focus on practice, because
Yeah.
I have no time to do that.
Or even answer the phone, because, you know, you
Yeah.
look into those records.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked
They
on
took-
doing records before, so I know.
Basically, my supervisor took all of that from me, because we were getting, when I first got in there, we were receiving subpoenas, like, they could just come and drop them off, and we would get that, like, 2 or 3 times a day sometimes, because the courthouse is like a block over, so they just walk over there and drop us off a subpoena. Or, they fax them, they email them, whatever. But she set up an email address to where they could email the records, email the subpoenas, because we were getting so many drop-offs. I was having to stop working to go get them and all of that. And everybody in the office, everybody does different things. Most of us are cross-trained on everything to where we need to, we can cover. But for me, I'm like the only one that does it. Nobody else in there does my job. And they don't even want to do it, because they already see like the bulk of it and what
Yeah.
has to happen. So she had other people answer the phone. If they have questions about ROIs or whatever, they have to call this number. And the number is my supervisor's voice explaining how they can get their records. And just like the normal questions that we get, she explains all of that on this long
Voicemail. Mm-hmm.
And then, what else did she do? Oh, she took pickup away, because we used to, when I first got in there, we would keep the records in a crate, and we'd wait till the attorneys or somebody would come and pick them up. Well, you get a lot of backup, because they take their time. They ask for the records, and they want them immediately and all that kind of stuff, and then they might not come get them for 2 or 3 weeks. And all of this stuff is just piling up. So she got to a point, we eliminated the pickup. They didn't like that very much. But it was good for me. I didn't care, because that, keeps me from walking back and forth.
Yeah.
Good on exercise,
Got to keep that office space clean.
I was active, but she eliminated all of that. So basically, I can go to work and just sit at my desk and do my work all day and not have to. But it takes that, because we get so many from everywhere. The courts send the subpoenas. We have people getting out that want their personal records, so they'll send requests. We have other jails that send us, and with those, they're a continuity of care. So we have to answer them immediately, because it could be a person that's in jail, they they may have picked them up in Galveston County or Montgomery County or Fort Bend County, and they want their records from us. Well, that patient is in their clinic, and he could be seasoned or anything could be going on. So we have to answer those immediately. Those come in by fax. So if I'm sitting there and I'm working on subpoenas and one come through, I got to stop what I'm doing, put that aside, and do that immediately because you never know what condition the patient is in. Same with clinics, doctor's offices, hospitals. Those don't. We have to do the continuity of care as soon as we get them. And then we have IAD. So yeah.
Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
When was all this put into place, into action? When did it become a law or?
For encrypting and all
No, just for HIPAA.
for HIPAA. So our favorite president that plays the saxophone. Anybody who knows Clinton?
Yay!
Yeah, Daddy Mac himself.
Yeah, in the old days when the worker was married, sometimes the doctor would give the results to the husband.
Oh no, they stopped all that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and that kind of helped block some things what he was doing too. I didn't sleep with that woman. I bet you didn't. I bet you did.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I'm a Clinton lover, so.
I am too. But that's who made it official. That's who brought in the HIPAA. Yes, was Clinton himself. He did that.
Never got crucified.
But I love him though. I love him. Doesn't change my mind about him. I love him.
We got 2 minutes.
Good question. Okay, so why don't we just wrap this up right here? Let me go to the car, get the sign-in sheet for y'all, and then the book, and then I'll be back. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if they'll let me pause it.
How long can we get here?
Some time to upload this, before I get home. Okay, because once I get home, I'm ready to go to sleep.
Right.
My mind ain't thinking.
So what class do you teach at the library?
Get you some melatonin.
It was good.
Oh, it does?
Mm.
Man.
I always heard that.
Yeah.
Take that and drink you some pineapple juice.
What class do you teach at the
That's what I'm
library?
saying. Me, I could just be.
I teach on Monday and Wednesdays at College of Healthcare Professions. So I teach right now medical law,
Like when I go on the plane,
principles of insurance like this,
I don't want to eat.
and coding. I teach for them on Mondays and Wednesdays. Yeah, and then the rest of it I teach online. It's a hybrid. You know what Northwest Mall is? You know where Houston ISD main office is off of West 18th and
That's where Cigna, I used to run Cigna. Cigna's right there.
what is it?
Cigna's right there.
Okay.
It's on 290
Yeah, because they used to be off of San Felipe, Cigna was, but they must have moved.
They're right there, Cigna Health Spring.
Okay.
If you're ever riding off of like 16, you'll see Cigna at the top of the building on the right hand side.
I don't never pay attention. Is it right near the Hyatt?
Right when you see that Applebee's when you're on 16,
Yeah.
Applebee's is right there. Cigna's directly across the street off of that TC Jester.
Oh, what at Boy Scouts?
Yeah, you make a left and Cigna's right there.
Oh, I didn't know that because they were off of San Felipe when I used to go to meetings with my friend. And
I was there last year.
okay. Okay.
I said I live out there in Pearland. It took me an hour and a half every day. I said, this is not enough. I don't get paid enough. I'm stressed out. I'm too young.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't working for you.
And the traffic, which is gridlock, you would not move because you're like going towards the Galleria. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it to work from home. I couldn't even make it. But some of my friends, some of the people I was in the class with like this, they're working from home now. I started there last June.
Mm-hmm.
It took me right at a year, and then they got.
So let's go back to the page here. We talked about Title 2, simplification. Catalina gave us a beautiful illustration of what she does in clinical documentation, release of information, along with HIPAA and all those beautiful things. I'm going to hopefully remind myself, among sending y'all a HIPAA video, try to see if I can find a news article about Memorial Hermann, what happened to them in the early 2000s when they were in cahoots with a law firm, and they were selling patient medical records who came in for auto accidents and stuff like that to attorneys. And instead of them going through the proper protocol and procedures, they were cutting corners, and they were making like $500 a patient just to get the info. Yeah, fraud. So yeah,
Somebody went to jail.
that was at Memorial Hermann in the med center.
And that was at Benton Hospital too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I was there. I wasn't there. I just got transferred to another location. But she was in the clinic. And when patients came in through the emergency room, she would take all of the face sheets, take them up to her office, and she was the cashier supervisor, take them up to her office and fax them off to the attorney's office. So he would show up at Benton and say, okay, I've been appointed to your case by the hospital.
Wow.
So he would have all of those patients. And the feds came in, they made everybody come out of the cage.
Did they take her to jail?
Yeah, she was
How the head
Oh, it worked.
Yeah,
That's the, but you know what? That happened too, because my son's grandfather was the head pharmacist at LBJ Hospital. And when they had did that big, remember that big drug, they were, the pharmaceutical, the pharmacy part, it was a lot of missing medication. And they had basically did a federal case on the husband and wife, and they put them in federal prison. Well, come to find out, those were his two workers. And because they had worked for him so long in other hospitals, when they brought him a slip, he just signed because he trusted them. And they were actually stealing the medicine out of LBJ to sit up there and furnish their pharmacy that they had basically opened. And the wife, the husband, he didn't have a pharmaceutical license, so he didn't really do any time. But the wife, that actually really wasn't doing all the stuff the husband was doing it, she was the one that basically they put everything on her because she was the one with the pharmaceutical license. And she did like five or 6 years in bed, and this man cheated on her the whole time she was locked up. It was so crazy. And so that's why, like, when you go into the medical field, you have to make sure, because you gonna go to jail and it's gonna mess your whole life up. And now that lady can't even. They still own the pharmacy, but because of that case, she cannot even walk into the pharmacy that she owns. She's had to hire a new pharmacy. She had to hire a pharmacist for her pharmacy and everything.
She didn't notice anything suspicious?
Huh?
She didn't notice anything suspicious?
I think she was in on it. But because she had the license, the state threw everything on her because she was the actual pharmacist. He worked in the pharmacy, but he was like a tech or something. He didn't have a license. She did.
And then he cheated.
And he cheated on
her. And then
her.
he turned around and cheated. And the crazy part about it was
Are
the
they
still
girl he
together?
was cheating with worked with me at my job. And she was going to school. No, I was a manager at Home Depot at this time.
She worked at Home Depot.
Yes, a regular cashier. He's the old, he was a sugar daddy.
Oh,
My
okay.
friend, his daughter,
That
she
makes
was in school. He was
That's messed up.
This little young girl that worked
Is
at
this
Home
story
Depot.
being recorded on YouTube?
She fell there.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's stop right there. Thank you, Virginia.
Please take that part out.
She didn't say anything. I didn't say no name.
I'm gonna have to edit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to edit.
I can't have that part in there about Benton.
Okay.
That's something that's just privy to this room. I really don't want.
Okay.
YouTube
So,
that's who I am.
I'm gonna edit before, so I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow.
7 years.
Okay. So, but anyway, y'all, let's change the subject. Thank you, Virginia. Let's change the subject. It's getting real good. Yeah. It's getting real good. So I'll go in and edit it, roll it back, and chop it out.
Yes.
So it's gonna look kind of funny, but it's okay. Okay. Privacy officer Healthcare organization, clearinghouse, we already talked about that. Business associate, do y'all see that in y'all book?
Where?
Business
Page
associate.
19.
Okay, I'm on 19, but in the pink book,
Oh, right here.
business associate. Do you see it, Sophia?
Oh, what's in the old, what page is on the old book?
That's what they're trying to figure out.
Business associate, page 24.
Okay, business associate, page 24.
Second column, last paragraph.
Okay. Oh, okay. Business associate is a person or entity that performs certain functions and activities using healthcare information on behalf of covered entity. It is considered an extension of healthcare organization and is held to the same standards under HIPAA. Covered entities should have business associate agreement in place with all entities that work with them. These need to specifically outline how the business associate complies with HIPAA legislation. For example, if the healthcare organization medical billing is performed by an outside service, the billing associate is a business associate of the covered entity, the healthcare organization. HIPAA's federal privacy regulations apply unless the state laws are more stringent regarding privacy, a situation referred to as state preemption. Okay, so you wanted that term there? Okay, so that business associate, someone asked me a question about the contract. I think it was you about the contract deal and how does contracting work. And so again, by that example, if I want to come in and do subcontract work for Harris Health, help with their billing, help catch up their billing or something like that, then I have to abide by the laws of HIPAA according to that institution. Okay, it doesn't matter about if my other client is St. Luke's. The business that I'm working with on hand right now, 9 to 5 today, is Bentab or Harris Health. Okay, if I'm working tomorrow and I'm doing St. Luke's and I got to do a signed business associate contract, I got to work with the HIPAA. I mean, they're all the same. I just have to, any work that I do for St. Luke's, I have to do it according to their HIPAA legislation. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't just blanket everybody and assume it works, because when it goes to court, it don't stand. It don't stand. It's different stuff, ma'am. Different stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna skip around for the sake of time. I'm going to the keyword where it says privacy rule. So if y'all can find a bolded vocabulary privacy rule. In the blue and white book, I'm on page 20. I'm not sure where pink and white book is.
Right here where it says privacy rule, page 25.
25?
It says privacy rule, confidentiality.
Is that the pink and white book, sweetie?
Yeah.
Okay. So pink and white book, go to page 25. Blue and white book, go to page 20. Privacy rule. Current technology allows easy access to healthcare information. HIPAA imposes new requirements on healthcare with regards to this. Since computers are essential to healthcare organization and confidential healthcare data is now sent across the network, emailed over the internet, and even accessed by hackers. Sometimes new safeguards are taken to protect data and prevent information from being intercepted or lost. Intercepted means pirating. And I think we talked about pirating once before in here early, and how some viruses can come on your software and want to do a vicious attack on your firewall, and they're pirating your information. They say, okay, pay us $10 million or else we're going to withhold patient information. That's also part of interception. When things are not...
Also part of interception is, say for instance, what is the name of that company? Gmail does not have help desk. They don't have help desk set up for that.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you Google Gmail help desk, it's a telephone number, and you call that number, they help you with your problem, and then they offer to sell you something in that conversation and you say no, and then they tell you to cut off your computer and cut it back on just to make sure that you can get into it and it's gone because you agreed to like let them inside. What do you call that term when they
I know what you're talking about. Remote.
remote?
Mm-hmm.
You gave them permission to remote, but that is piracy when they held your computer captive for a service, right?
Right. Right. But if they agree to it, now it has to be a consent that the person agreed to that, and then it has to be a limited time. It shouldn't be forever. But that is a great idea of what pirating is like. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Regulations now closely govern how industry handles electronic activities. The HIPAA privacy rule establishes national standards to protect individuals' health records and other personal health information. It applies to all covered entities that conduct certain healthcare transactions electronically. Key terms: privacy. Privacy is the condition of being secluded from the presence or view of others. Confidentiality is using discretion in keeping secret information. Integrity plays an important role in healthcare setting. Healthcare workers need solid understanding of HIPAA's basic requirements. So you have to understand the difference between privacy and confidentiality. Use means the sharing of application, utilization, examination, or analysis of health information within the organization. So, for example, when a patient billing record is accessed to review the claim submission history, the individual's health information